What up, Rex fans? I'm Theo.
Ryan Mao here.
We're here with another bowling ball review of the Purple Hammer Solid Reactive. Super sought out ball. Big hype on this bowling ball. You know, what makes this ball so great? So Ryan, tell us a little bit about the bowling ball.
Well, like you said, the purple urethane has been a huge hit since it came out, so it's a very, very unique ball motion as it is for a urethane ball. So they just kind of went a step further and made a reactive version that wrapped around the same core, same numbers on the core as the urethane. But it's a really unique shape with the reactive cover around it. It just gives you that little bit more consistency that the purple urethane didn't give you. If say you're on a short pattern, the pattern starts stretching out a little bit, that ball's just not making the corner, you can kind of just line up in the same place and use a little bit different friction spot and just jump right into this reactive ball, and it kind of does the same thing. But it's got a lot more uniqueness too than just kind of up the lane with the purple ball. You can really open it up and do a lot of different things with it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I've noticed, so just dive in a little bit about my layout. 5-inch pin up, really simple, just really benchmark layout. Nothing crazy, right? Because something like this, keep it simple, right? So I wanted something very predictable, something a little bit rollier, something I could really get flat on it or just hit it hard, hit down on it, and just be able to kind of tighten out my angles. But one thing I noticed, if I got a little slower and I got around it, this ball shape's pretty good, right? I have loved this ball in league, actually bowling on high friction surfaces. So if any of you guys are like, oh my God, my stuff's looking so much, Purple Hammer Solid Reactive, I mean, it's amazing. So
yeah, and my layout, you know, this is kind of an old urethane type layout that Mo Pinnell kind of gave me back in the days. You just kick it right above your ring finger there. For me, it's about 3 3/4 to about 3 1/2 to my pap, so it's really strong. It really wants to read as soon as it hits the lane. That's kind of how I want to see it. I want to see a lot of down lane motion with a urethane type motion with a smaller flare. I want to keep it in front of me a little bit more. I want to see that roll, that real even roll that this ball gives me. So that's kind of where I put most of my urethane pins, is really close to that finger, on the 3 1/2 to 3 1/4, 3/4 side distance wise. So it just gives me that really even shape, and works for me.
awesome. All right, well, we're gonna go through some shots, and you guys can see how they roll. All right. All right, so if you're looking at my Purple Hammer Solid here, you know, Purple Hammer, absolute goat ball, you know, greatest ball time, right? A lot of two-handers like me, we love throwing the Purple Hammer because it controls friction, especially when there's a lot of oil up front and there's friction down lane, right? You want something a little bit, you know, easier to control. Now, the thing about the Purple Hammer Solid, for me, a little bit smoother, right? It rolls really, really good, but realistically, if I was to throw it on something like this, it's a little tougher for me just because, you know, I like to throw this on a little bit higher friction. So I'll kind of show you guys, you know, this, get soft with it, see what it does. So the sweet spot for me is standing around 26 with my feet and just making sure I just stay soft with the ball and get it out from the friction. So you can see for me that ball is super smooth. You know, it's not something I want that has that big ricochet motion, right? You don't want that, right? Something smooth, something predictable, and that's what the Purple Hammer Solid does.
So pretty much the rave of all the bowling industry has been the Purple Hammer the last few years, and not surprised that Hammer came out with this reactive version. Keeps that low diff, keeps that real narrow flare lines on the ball, very predictable, but just in a reactive sense, you know, it gives that same predictable motion as the purple urethane does, but just in a reactive version, so you get a little bit more consistency lane to lane, shot to shot, because you're going to get some absorption where you wouldn't with the urethane ball. So let's see how we do. Pretty slick pattern. like you said, 43 feet. Probably not what I would want to start out with on this pattern. It's a little bit too much volume, but as the lanes transition, it's a really, really unique shape. It does a lot of really good things for a lot of different people, and I think it's going to be a hit for a lot of people down the road.